So welcome to this week's Monday Moments. With me this week, I have re-invited Jane Adshead-Grant. Known Jane for 3 years now, maybe a bit longer, and Jane has coached me to help me with my thinking. Jane is a person that loves to make a difference. Jane specializes in executive and leadership coaching and teaching those leaders and executives how to think better, how to get their teams to think better, and how to listen, just how to listen. So those are things I've learned about Jane. Jane, welcome to Monday Moments this week.
Thank you, David. And it's great fun to be with you again. And I love this idea of creating this kind of wonderful opportunity to be together once more and to generate, I hope, some hope.
So as we generate hope for what can often be a difficult Monday for leaders, particularly in their teams, what thoughts do you have for us this Monday?
Well, one of the things that's been on my mind recently, and a theme that's come up with other clients, is helping individuals connect more with the why we are here, in terms of what are we here to do, together with the what is it that we do, and then on more than that is the how. So how do we do it? How do we get there together? And so today I'd love to share with you a brief model called the 4 Ps, which came out of the work of William Bridges, who's written some work around transitions, etc. And so quite simply, it's this. The 4 Ps are, first of all, it's the purpose. So if we'd like to say, we're saying, well, what are we here to do? And why? Why are we here to do this? And then the picture. What is the picture that we imagine we are working towards? What will it look like when we've accomplished what we're here to do? And then what is the plan? So what is our plan in order to get there? And then finally, what is our part to play in that? So look, maybe I share with you my own as an example. And David, get ready, because I'd love then to throw it back to you and see what.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So if I were to share my example, my purpose is to make a contribution to this world and to share the impact and art of listening so that people can become their very best. And the picture that I imagine is a world where we listen first, to enable to have their voice heard, and so they can also connect with their gifts and talents. My plan to pursue that is that I am an executive coach, listening to others to generate more of their thinking, to connect with their gifts and talents. And I teach others to do this work. And the part that I play in that is regularly developing myself through my reading, through my writing, and also encouraging others to come along the journey with me. And therefore, your part to play in this, alongside with me, is developing our skill of listening, of deep listening, so that we can help others be the very best that they can be.
Right.
So what about you? If I threw this model back to you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we think about your purpose. What are you?
So the way you've been so crisp, I can see you've thought this through again and again and again till you've made it so succinct and articulated it so well. So my purpose, I used to think I was the Soul Millionaire. That's the brand, as you know, of my company in the name. I've now realized through a conversation with one of my clients a few years ago that actually I'm not the Soul Millionaire. So my purpose in life and in business is to create in this world the kind of human being that I would call a Soul Millionaire. It's rather like the development training of a Jedi Knight. You know, it's a Jedi Knight when you see one by the way they behave, the way they treat people, the way they influence the world. And so my first book, The Soul Millionaire, says this is the kind of human being that I really admire, who influences the world for good. And so I want to leave this world with people who behave like a Soul Millionaire, who are selfless, who are self-aware, who are driven by a meaningful purpose, who find meaning in life, who are not consumed by consumerism, and who just want to leave the world a better place, and who also listen. They're externally open to other people's ideas, and they don't think they own the world, and they own the world of ideas. So that's the purpose, to create a community of soul millionaires who then go on and influence the world for good. I'm going to expand on that a little bit. I became rather distraught over the last two weeks ago, listening to a number of David Attenborough programs, which basically taught me, we are in serious trouble as a community in the world. We are in serious trouble, and we have a very few years left to put it right. Then Wendy said to me, look, this current generation that leads the 21 companies in the world that produce 50% of the greenhouse gases, you're not going to influence them, but you can influence the next generation who have shown that they really do care. So she said, your job is to influence those whom you can influence. So that's my purpose. And I call those people soul millionaires. My plan is to create a community who in a conscious fashion learn how to become soul millionaires, and to provide them with the tools and resources that say, this is how you become this kind of human being, by this way of thinking, this way of feeling, and this way of acting in the world, particularly the world of business. So that's the plan, so that I can leave business with a group of people who want to change a professional industry so it becomes selfless, self-aware, generous, and wants to lift its community. So that's the plan. And I'm rolling out an online program as well as one-to-one coaching. Sorry, the picture, which was number 2, wasn't it? Wouldn't it be amazing to have a world where people went to work in order to make somebody else's life more joyful and more rich in the fullest sense of the word enrichment? So that's the picture. And one can picture that, one can see that in behavior in business. We've seen some extremes in the States, and if you reverse that and take the polar opposite, well, that's how I want the world to be, a much more generous, compassionate world. That's the picture. And the plan is, as I've suggested, my part in that is to work with people like yourself, work with good coaches who can help me think better, who can help me see more clearly what it is I'm trying to do, and who can help me learn, okay, David, what do you need to change in you in order to lead that kind of tribe and that kind of movement who behave like that? It must start with you. So my part in that is to work on me to become a better me, as a husband, as a father, as a leader in the community, as a leader in church, leader in business, in order that I can engender that kind of movement. That's not nearly as crisp as yours, but that's, I think, where I'm going.
I love it, David. And you know what I really appreciate in you is taking us from this very wide picture and future of the world. And I felt that I was on that journey with you. And also the self-awareness to recognize that it actually starts with us. So we need to do the work on ourselves in order to inspire and influence others to go and be this wonderful future that we hope. And I think we're going to be in good hands with the generation that follows.
I do too. I was, Wendy asked me to listen to my children recently because I was in despair. I really was. I was having bad dreams about where this world is going and physically what that means to my children and their children. I have 5 grandchildren. And she said, listen to your children because they're much more aware than you are of how to individually change their behavior and start influencing the world. So, one is a vegan simply because not being a vegan creates masses of problems for the world. One, has worked for charities since she started work and is doing things out there in the world to save people's lives and to make lives better. worked for Oxfam, WaterAid. She's a project manager in that. And so she leads teams of people to change the world. So she says, watch them, listen to them, ask them questions about how do I do something in this world? Get solar panels for the roof. That's our next plan. Make sure we're contributing. And so this next generation, Jane, I think they're our hope. I really do. And I'm inspired by them. I am. Yeah.
Thank you.
So any final thoughts to leave us on the 4 Ps?
I would just say, I would invite our listeners today to take some time, just to take a step back and ask yourself these questions. Why do I do what I'm doing? What is the picture that I want to create and imagine our future to be? And what is the plan? What am I going to do in order to get there? And what is my part to play? And those I have the privilege of leading, or who are in my span of care. So that would be my last takeout. Just take some time back.
That's lovely. So let's leave them to think about that. Thank you, Jane, for joining me on this week's Monday Moments. It's been just a joy being with you.
Great to see you too. My pleasure.